to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company WindowWorks from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. This year has taught most of us business owners a lot of pretty big lessons, right? Lessons like be prepared for the unexpected, and everything can change in an instant. And even if you don't like technology, it's probably time to get onto the train, right? But another lesson that really came out of this year is that passive income, online income, generating income remotely is going to be part of our future, right? And I think that many of us who didn't have this online business set up have already probably started to consider how we need to build that into our businesses. I know that we're doing that at WindowWorks, because all of a sudden everyone is at home and you're balancing virtual learning and extra bodies in the house and no childcare and all the other lovely gifts that pandemic has brought us. But of course, an online business isn't born overnight, is it? It isn't just snap your fingers and suddenly you're making money while you sleep. It takes time, it takes planning, and it takes purposeful creation. And as I said, at WindowWorks, we started working on this in the summer when we thought we were going to be home for many more weeks than we were. And we're still not ready to announce it yet. So it's been a lot putting into what we're doing, creating. I'm not going to even tell you what it is. I'll tell you when it's ready, but it's coming soon. But today, my guest, Jenna Gaidusek, is a big believer in online business and in passive income, right? Long before 2020, she made a conscious decision to build her design business online. And that's exactly what she's done. She was so successful at it, in fact, that you'll hear us tell how this led to her creating the EDesign Tribe, which is an online community to help interior designers like you succeed in working online too. So today, Jenna is going to share with us her process for creating online income as a designer, even if you don't have any experience yet, right? Now, before we hear from Jenna, I want to take a minute to thank our show sponsor, Revelwoods. Did you know Revelwoods makes it so easy for you to integrate flooring into your projects? And by integrate, I actually mean you, the designer, making money. Okay, by being the one to sell the flooring to your clients, right? It's so often it's the builder that does it, but you can do it. True wholesale pricing allows you to charge competitive pricing for comparable products from flooring retailers, all right? A few of the fabulous features include protected branding, prevents you from being shopped, and the Revelwoods team will walk you through the entire process. They can help you in every way you need, from the initial sampling all the way through to even helping you find an installer if you need one. All right. Now, it doesn't matter if you've been sourcing flooring for years or you know nothing about flooring. Revelwoods is here to help you take care of it for your clients and to help you add profit to your projects. Go to revelwoods.com. REVEL woods.com and get started today. All right. Now, I just want to warn you, today is one of those episodes where you're going to want to go get a pen and paper. I mean, every once in a while, I'm just telling you. Now, if you're like, oh, great, Lou, I'm driving. I can't. Okay, well, listen, but you're going to want to come back, okay? So we did put a goodie in this one, though. So we do, if you are driving or doing something and you can't take notes, when you are done, you can go to luannigara.com/goodies, GOODIES, where we tried to capture some of the information, the steps that Jenna gave us, okay? And of course, if you've already signed up at luannigara.com/goodies, then you can just go to your portal and get the latest goodie. All right. Now let's hear what Jenna has to say for building this online design for you as, you grow your business and add this to your income stream, okay? Hi, Jenna. Thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, LuAnn. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, Jenna, I'm looking forward to this conversation. We have been, in each other's world for over a year now. And of course, our good friend, Leslie Carruthers, introduced me to you. Like she just said, you need to know Jenna, LuAnn. You need to know Jenna. You need to see what she's doing. And of course, you can't get a better endorsement than that. I mean, can you really?
Oh, Leslie is absolutely lovely.
I know, right? And the thing for me is I know what a really astute businesswoman Leslie is, and with the body of experience that she's got in her career, if Leslie says pay attention to something or someone, I know that I need to do that. And so, and if this is new to you, if you're not familiar with who Leslie Carruthers is, she has now been on the show probably 3 times, I think, as of recording this. And please, I will put the episodes in the show notes. Do yourself a favor and, get introduced to this rock star. But Leslie introduced me to this rock star. So, Jenna, the one thing that I know that you and Leslie have in common is this passion for helping interior designers understand the value of developing passive income. The other thing I know is that in the year 2020, I don't think any one of us still kids ourselves in thinking that passive income is entirely passive. However, it is completely different than driving an hour and a half to an appointment, being at the appointment for 2 or 3 hours, and driving an hour and a half home. So we do want to pay attention to this opportunity to diversify our income, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so you're an interior designer, Jenna, and you had a different vision and goal from your company than many interior designers do when they start out. Would you take us there, take us through that, and what your plans were for your firm, and where did it bring you to today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me start at the beginning here. I am, my husband and I are, I guess, serial nomads. We like to move. We've lived in now 14 places in the past 13 years. So we really like to travel, we like to move around. And so online design and working online for me was always just, where I saw my business. However, I am an introvert, and I was working at kind of a corporate job in New York City, and I just hated the commute. I was doing it for about 5 years. I hated the commute. I didn't want to work one-on-one anymore with clients. It was just physically pretty draining for me. I am inherently a homebody, so I really wanted to make the online world work for me. So for the past 5 years, almost 6 now, I have been working exclusively online as an online or remote designer. And I have taken clients all over the US and Canada. And with that, I set a goal for myself that not only did I want to make more than my husband was at his corporate job within 2 years, but also I wanted to do it passively. And I didn't want to take the 14 clients a month or whatever that might have been. And I wanted to take back my time and do things more passively online, just by setting up my processes and procedures and making things more obtainable for people that wanted to hire a designer, and then I could earn basically passive income that way and not have to take one-on-one clients anymore.
Okay, so I heard 2 things in there. Well, 3 if I hear when I talk about, wow, 13 places in 14 years, and that you both agree to that lifestyle. That's exciting. Okay. But the 2 things I heard that relate to business is that, number one, for you, your personality, and for your lifestyle with moving all around, what are you going to do every time? Spend 6 months, 7 months building up your name in a local community to turn around and move again. So from the practical standpoint of wanting to grow a business and having it align with your personal lifestyle goals of being able to travel, that the online design was a good solution for you. But the other thing I heard you say in there is that you also wanted to manage and control the time that you did spend, so you actively worked to put processes and systems in place to execute that online design. I heard that in there, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I mean, if we think about 14 clients in a month, if there aren't systemized processes, it doesn't matter really if you're leaving your home or you're doing it online. That's still a massive amount of work to do. And so I love that you took it that step further to say, what can I automate and systemize in order to make that um, business model even more efficient and profitable. So talk to us about it. What are some of the things? First of all, should we start with? How do you attract clients to an e-design platform? How do you attract clients that are interested in working remotely with a designer? Because that attraction and that marketing plan, I would assume, is different than building up the visibility in your local community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very different. And I started doing this and, kind of helping other designers because there was so many established designers that were like, where do I even start? I have this great referral network locally, but what do I do online? And for me, I didn't really take a lot of local clients previously before this. I was working for other firms, so I never had to go out and do my own, looking for clients and marketing. So for me, I was starting from scratch. I realized what I had to do, and then I had to build it from there. And technically, I guess I'm a millennial. So I did have the advantage of, first of all, growing up outside and like being able to play outside and have a conversation with people. But I also played Sims and, grew up on computers and all of that stuff too. So I was tech savvy, and I realized that the first thing that I had to do was create an online business card. And what is that? It's a website. So establishing your online presence through a website and then directing social media traffic back to it just by simply telling a story and connecting with the person that I wanted to work with most, my ideal client. That is how I just started to grassroots start to connect to people, and they would hire me for my design services. So all of that kind of adapted into a way for me to streamline the process with every single client that I was taking on, and then eventually get away from having to do, well, I don't want to say having to do, it was my choice to move away from doing the one-on-one. Now I can be more selective if I do get that itch to work one-on-one with a client, to accept the jobs that I only want to take. Other than that, I like to really work passively and create the concepts and then make them shoppable online.
Okay, so it's one thing to say, I mean, I hear you. You're exactly right. What is our online business card? It's our website. I get it. What you said all makes sense. But transferring that from the concept to the doing, right? So we have our website. We have to build a good website. We talk to our ideal client, which in your case is somebody that wants to work remotely, doesn't want you to come to the door and, have coffee and measure and do all the things. But what is the mechanisms for that? I know in past episodes we've talked with designers have talked about having a very robust blog, which, maybe you post a blog on Pinterest or, whatever, and house and different things and attract people to the website. What are the actual things that, Jenna, now 2020, that you suggest that designers do in a digital way that attracts clients to them?
You're right with the blog. And I hear a lot of people saying, I'm not a blogger. I don't like to do that, and I don't either. I am the first person to tell, my audience and my designers that I am not a blogger, but I love creating graphics and I love creating concept boards. I love designing for somebody that wants to hire a designer, but might not necessarily be able to. So what I've done is I have not, first of all, not devalued what we do as designers, because let's face it, like, we can't be giving everything away for free online. So what I've done is I've created something that works for me and also general consumers that might not be in a place to hire a designer for a full room or something like that. And I've created this blog series called Shop My Virtual Home. And basically I create these concept boards in Photoshop, and then I make them shoppable. I actually created a software for that, but we'll talk about that at a different time. And I make them shoppable, and then I create this blog series around them, which also has an opt-in, meaning that's how I'm generating email leads so that I can nurture and continue to talk to people through their inbox via email. And when I have the style quiz, all of the results actually lead back to these shoppable blog posts. So it's a whole big series of everything kind of connects to each other, and it just helps me to grow and also to make passive income on the products that I'm, I guess, selling through these shoppable boards in this blog post series.
Okay, break down the
Yep.
blog post series. Okay, so we have this shoppable blog post series. So what happens? You wake up one day and you say, let me write a blog post about how to do, farmhouse chic master bedroom decor. Like whatever, right? And you create the copy that describes this aesthetic and this process, and you use the language and the SEO and the keywords that will attract the consumer that is searching online for this aesthetic. And then what? Is it all copy and then it just has like a mood board attached that they click on and then they can go to your affiliate link and do it? Or it sounds like it's a little bit more evolved and elevated than that. Tell me what it's like.
It is. So I used to do that, and I am now kind of going to be hiding that blog post on my website and only doing it this way. So I'm going to start at the beginning here, and this is a great place for when designers are just starting out to start with this. So what I would recommend doing is creating 4 to 5 different design styles that you enjoy designing, okay? And then you would start by creating a concept board for each of those design styles. So maybe you have modern, contemporary, if you're doing, an elevated farmhouse, some coastal, all of those things. And then you go and you start sourcing and curating a shoppable look for this, for each design style. And then you create a concept board in Photoshop, Canva, whatever program you're using. I recommend Photoshop. And while you're doing this, you're creating these boards and you're timing yourself. You're seeing how fast you can get as you're doing this, which also helps you with your design process for when you are collaborating one-on-one with clients. Okay, so we created the 5 boards for the different design styles. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a blog post for each of these design styles, okay? Archetypes, if that's kind of the word that you want to use for that, archetype. So each of these design styles has their own blog. It starts out with, here's your concept, if you love this, let's shop it. Let me tell you about the process. So I hate writing blogs. I absolutely hate writing. It's just not my thing. But I love graphics. And that's why I do the things that I do. I do renders and I do concept boards, because I think that what we do needs to be conveyed visually for people that might not have the vision like we do in our head to be able to actually see it. So I show them the board and then I say, okay, here's how you can shop it. And then I talk about, here's the sofa. This is why I chose the sofa for this modern design. Here's a few alternative options for you. And then here's the rug. Here's why I chose these rugs. Here's a few alternative rugs. And I go down every single item that I selected so that my readers can learn my process, why I made those decisions, and then shop it themselves. And when they do, I've used affiliates. So the affiliates will earn me a commission. Though I don't know these people online, I've still helped them, and I've still received some kind of revenue when they do place their order based off of my referral from this blog post.
Whoa. Okay. And so twice you've said that you don't like to write, but you like graphics and renderings. But you aren't ignoring the writing part. You're just acknowledging that you don't really like to do that part. Or are you somehow substituting graphics for the bulk of the copywriting of the blog post? I mean, you have to keep telling people how to do it, right?
Yes. So I do. And what I do is I do it backwards. So I don't write about it first. I design it first, and then I have something to write about, because for me, it's a struggle. So if I'm looking at the design, I'm like, this is why I chose this. And this is, I don't think about those things until I'm done. And then I write about them.
That's a terrific mechanism. I love that. I mean, I can see it. It's like, if, you sit there and you look at even for those of us that like to write, looking at the blank page is brutal. So, and especially if you don't like to write, that's a great little tip there, Jenna. It's for anybody that struggles with blog writing, is to create all the images and the pictures first, and then to just walk through and explain because you do know your process. You do know why you picked that sofa, that lamp, because of the arm or the scale or the size or, the finish on it, right?
Yep.
Exactly. Okay.
Yep.
So now I love this. Okay. And what's funny is you're a fast talker, lady. And what I mean by that is you give us a lot of information and it seems like, okay, what else? But I'm like, wait, we got to go back and take it apart a little bit.
Sorry.
No, not at all. I'm just teasing with you. Right. So here's the thing. When we break this down in a little bit, slower mode here, where it is a lot of work what you've just did. This could take weeks to do, right? So we are first deciding on 4 or 5 different design styles that we actually like to do, that we enjoy doing, because of course we don't want to attract something if we're not, we don't want to do it to begin with. Then you're creating a concept board for each style, and then you're shopping, you're curating all of the individual items, and that's step right in there. Just make sure I understand it. When you're having us do this, first of all, I think we missed the step that we have to sign up for one of those platforms that we have affiliate money linked to, right?
Well, yes and no. So what I did say when I was starting this is a beginner tip. But if you're a beginner and you haven't started a blog or anything that really starts to develop your website, you're probably not going to be accepted into these affiliate programs immediately. Okay. However, by doing this, you're showing them, this is how I represent your product. And, I do it well and I do it professionally. And then you can go back and add the links in later. So I wouldn't stress about that now.
Okay, so if you are not on, what are some of those sites called? I know Leslie mentioned them, and I don't recall off the top of my head. Reward Style or something like that. Yep. What are they?
Yeah. Reward Style is a good one. Again, you do have to have momentum online for that one to be accepted. VigLink, they go by a Savorn Commerce now, I believe. Pepper Jam, Share a Sale. I also developed my own affiliate program for our eShop, which is for our platform members only. And there's a ton of them out there.
Okay, so what you're telling me though is, if I've never done this before, I can't probably take advantage of being a member of one of these sites. I have to, so I put the affiliate link in, but I'm not going to necessarily get the affiliate money back at this point. I'm just really doing it as a courtesy to the client, that client that finds my website and my blog. But I'm building the pay it forward so that I can eventually come back in weeks or months or whatever and say to Reward Style, this is how many times people have clicked on my links.
Yeah. So you're just going to add the link to the direct product for now. And then once you're starting to apply to these programs, you can say, here's the series that I do, see how I use your products.
Yes.
And then once you're accepted, then you go back and you just
change
it
out to the link. And that's a good point too, to go back retroactively and change it all.
Yeah.
Right. Don't forget that step. Okay. So, but in the meantime, this step, and that's what I wanted to point out, this step of curating the shoppable items, it's involved because you're, first of all, curating them and searching the internet for them and so forth, but you're taking the time to grab the link and to embed it in your blog post. It isn't just like, oh, that's a great sofa. You've got to take the steps. And then you are now creating, the concept board is next. I think I said it was second, but it's after this. You're getting your products together, then you put it into the board, right? Is that right? Right. And you basically like what you would do as a presentation to a client. You put it all together and like, here's the sofa, here's the lamp, here's the rug, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, I do it simultaneously just because I build my, as I'm sourcing, I'm building all the products by just dragging and dropping the things that I'd like to see if they work in the design in Photoshop. Oh. So yeah, just copy and paste it over. Whatever I'm using stays, whatever I'm not, kind of acts as the alternative option that I could potentially share in this blog post if they didn't love my number one choice.
Okay. And then ultimately the suggestion is to create a blog post for each design style. And then Jenna, do you continue? Is it almost like little categories within your blog? So you could potentially, if modern farmhouse chic was one of your styles, you could potentially have 5, 6, 7, 8 blog posts there with 5, 6, 7, 8 different mood boards and concept boards. Is that correct?
Yes.
Not
What I
really.
do is a different, well, you're very close. I just do a different blog post for each one. So when I just told you I start with 5, I started with 10, and I did that in a weekend, just because that's how fast I can curate and do concept boards now. So I spent 8 hours on 10 concept boards and sourcing all of them. And then I wrote the blog post, which have taken me about 3 weeks because I hate writing.
Yes.
So what I did though was I did 10. So each style has 2 concept boards and 2 different posts.
Right.
So
That's what,
you can just
okay.
keep adding these, yeah, later to a
Right. That's what
separate
I mean.
post.
You
Mm-hmm.
stay with the 4 or 5 styles that you want to attract, but you just keep adding multiple boards under it with different products and different affiliate links so that it's like, it's eye candy for the person who's that's their style. They might come back every month to see what else that Jenna has. And maybe they don't buy the whole room at any one time, but every month they're buying another lamp, another sofa, another this, another that.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's set a realistic expectation. So, first of all, I don't think that it's realistic that many of us are going to create 8 or 10 of these in a weekend. Let's just be serious. Okay,
Right. I
maybe,
do feel like, yep.
right. In the timeline of it getting traction, of your blog getting traction, and of eyeballs getting to your website, to your blog, and to people actually pulling out their credit card. So, first, we've got to go and let the world know that we've done this. So it's on our blog, but what else do we do to say our blog is there?
Yep. So, okay, I built this with so many different layers, but all of the layers literally help you to build everything that you need to get started with this based off this one sequence and this one project. So, a few ways that I do that is now that I have all these different style types, what I do is I take each product that I actually recommended and I create a style quiz. Okay, so the style quiz, and I use, can I say who I use?
Yes.
Okay, I use Interact for my style quizzes. I have for years, and I've collected probably close to 15,000 leads on my first style quiz. So this is now my new one. So when I create this by taking every single product that I sourced in these initial concept boards, and I say, okay, go ahead and choose your favorite sofa. Here's 10 sofas. And then they choose their first and second favorite, and then we move on to chairs. And by the end, the quiz results that they should be getting, and if they do this with a spouse or something, it's always interesting to see the styles and how they merge together. But the majority of the pieces that they've selected in that style quiz will then go to their results, whichever board has the most of those pieces. So say they chose, 5 modern products that show up in my Shop the Look modern board, then I would redirect them with their result to that modern blog post. And then they would also be on my email list. So when I do those updates that you were just talking about with new boards for the modern style, I'm going to shoot them an email and say, hey, there's a new style board up. Go ahead and shop it. Because now we're in communication. Now they're getting to know me. But before they found me in this style quiz, in this blog post series, they found me either on Pinterest because I create multiple graphics for every single blog post and my style quiz. And I also have been sharing it on social media. So on Instagram, I've scheduled my plan or Planoly or whatever you're using so that you're consistent in saying, this is what I have, go check it out. Here's where you can go do that. So you're always driving traffic using social media, but also giving that fun added incentive for the interaction of the style quiz, which in turn brings them on your email list so you can continue to talk to them.
I am dumbfounded. That's amazing. I just love it. And it's, this is not my first rodeo. You know what I mean? I've had a
Yep.
lot of amazing conversations with truly smart people who have utilized versions of this in order to build their business. But this little ecosystem here, like you said, the layers, like everything rolling around and pointing back to each other. It's like a Seinfeld episode where this random thing at the top of the show, which is funny and wonderful unto itself, like literally at the end, it finds its thread through everything.
Yeah, you're right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So again, having done a little bit of this, and I don't mean me personally, but with Nicole Heimer at Curio Electro doing some of this type of stuff for me, I know that this is a lot of work. It sounds like, hey, no big deal. Easy. We got this. But what I love is it's work that gets done to a certain extent once. And then, as you said in the beginning, when you describe passive income, retweaked and revised and readdressed. You don't just sit it and let it go for a year, but it's not that every single day, 3, 4, 5 hours a day, I got to be paying attention to this work.
Right. Exactly. You can add it later. And the reason why I add alternative options below my actual selections is, what if that chair sells out, in 6 months and they can no longer get it? No worries. I don't have to go back every 5 seconds and change out my links and change out my boards. I've already provided 5 other options that they can choose from.
That's so smart. That's so smart. That's so smart, because otherwise you really would. You'd be getting all these emails saying, that sofa is discontinued. You shouldn't have it in the blog post if it's discontinued.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, honestly, as if you owe them anything, right? Right. But that's the kind of email you would get. You're totally right. So, okay. So this is a really, really tremendous system. I love this. And so we're going to, and because the key that I was looking for is that when I said to you, how do we get people to this whole blog and everything? I do know that quizzes, we take them all the time. I mean, since the dawn of time, I'm 16 years old and we were doing quizzes in 17 magazine, and then you're in, a little older and you're doing quizzes in Cosmo. I mean, people can't help themselves, and you look at it like it's not in the magazines anymore, right? It's online, but you would look at it at the store and it would say, oh, does your boyfriend really love you? And you're like, this quiz cannot answer this question, but you have to buy the darn magazine and you have to take it to the bottom. And you're like, I can't believe he doesn't love me.
Taking me back to the days of MASH when we were like,
right.
trying to figure out our answer. Yeah.
And I mean, I just think we're wired to not be able to, even the quizzes on BuzzFeed and on Facebook. Yeah. It's like, the one that went around recently was pick, 2 numbers or something, and it reveals your 2 words, 2 things you need most in your life. You can't. It's like you have to do it. You're just like, and then you're like, what are you doing, LuAnn? What are you doing? Now you're on somebody's darn email list for this silly thing.
Well, I'm going to have 4 babies this year, so that's from one of my Facebook quizzes.
wait, you're
oh my God, it's weird.
Wait, go back there.
No, that's just that's what the OMG quizzes. One night I was
my God.
on a quiz chair, and they were like, well, you're going to have 4 babies and then this is going to happen in your life. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. I got to screenshot that for later when it comes through.
You terrified me for a second. I was like, what?
No.
Oh my goodness. All right. So Jenna, I love that you taught this to us. I think this is amazing. I do think that this will be one of those episodes that I get tremendous emails about that tell me I had to listen to that 3 times. I had to go back. I had to listen to it. I had to write it down. And so thank you, because this is such an actionable thing that any one of us can adapt to our businesses, no matter if we're designers, window treatment professionals, architects, candlestick makers. Okay. So love it.
Absolutely. So I started the EDesign Tribe as a Facebook group in 2018 after I'd been exclusively practicing online design since 2015. I lived in New York City. I had a newborn baby at home, and I was insanely lonely because I was working endless hours on these projects. So I didn't really get to leave my house a lot, and I was just looking for friendship, honestly, in this industry that was so up and coming and really kind of frowned upon by a lot of designers at the time, because they just didn't understand. And, we were being diminished by some of the other companies that were out there and not charging enough for the services and whatnot. So I wanted a place that was, a positive environment and just a place to talk it out a little bit, and troubleshoot issues and grow together. So I started the EDesign Tribe in 2018 on Facebook, started with about 30, maybe 50 people. And then it just grew word of mouth, that, it's just a wealth of knowledge. I would share my tips from things that I was learning, because I always try and stay ahead of the curve. I just am such a techie at heart that I just want to know what's next, what's new, what's coming out. And then people would see that on my social media and they were like, well, how are you doing this? So I just had to share it. So I started this community, and we really got to know each other on more of a personal level. I do contests and I do just fun little engagement things to bring us together as a family, that's all kind of fighting for the betterment of the industry. So out of that came EDesignU, which started as one course and just developed. And it's really basically just me showing, behind the curtain, how do I do all my renders? How do I do Photoshop boards? How do I do my process using my website and all of those things? And then how do I market? So I created EDesignU with all these courses because I was getting asked so many times that I was like, oh, well, here, it's your own learning. You can do it at your own pace and adapt it to your own business. And meanwhile, we're just kind of trying to figure out, like, what's the best software to implement as well. So after EDesignU, it was about a year ago now, I launched the platform, and we used a different rendering software back then, but I had also been working on developing a program called EDesign Tribe, which basically helps designers to earn affiliate commission on the products that they recommend online. Because we're asked constantly, like, where's that lamp from? Whatever. If you're recommending something that you're sharing online, you should get a little commission for it, right? So this was my main goal, and getting the best quality rendering software without having to work for a third-party company and kind of sell your soul to do so. So creating this and then teaching designers how to do it for themselves, or how to outsource it within our ecosystem of designers that are either designer VAs or other, have other skill sets. That's where this entire tribe, basically our family, came from, and we all grow and learn together.
It's exciting. I want one clarifying question I want to make is that I think I'm understanding what you're saying, and without saying it, and I understand in order to be respectful and not make this a crazy program, but when you're saying you were looking for a place that was supportive, that wasn't, I'm not sure if you used taking advantage or exploiting, but you're talking about not just designers working for other designers in their firms. You're talking about those big platforms that e-designers worked for or through, correct? Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure because I inferred that, but I wasn't 100% sure, and I want to make sure that we're clear. It wasn't that you were out doing your e-design and feeling like designers weren't being respected by other designers that had their own firms. It was these other platforms, who will remain nameless, were not always set up with the best interest of the designer in mind. And we know that. A lot of that has come to light since then. And so you're talking about that community of, let's have it be, uplifting and supportive for the designers in it, as well as the consumers coming to it, because that becomes the next step for you. First, it becomes a support place for e-designers to, like you're saying, learn rendering, learn different things, communicate, ask questions about the different best ways and practices to do things. But then it becomes a place where now consumers can get matched up with a designer as well. Am I correct in that?
Exactly. Yeah. And now we are even stronger of that ecosystem with experienced designers that don't do the renderings, but want to, and are coming to our designers that now have all the education and the tools under their belt so they can be hired. But you're exactly right. These are the big box, as I refer to them, e-design companies that I was working hours for pennies.
Right. Okay, so now you've got the EDesign Tribe. Tell me about the different levels. So we've got, I'm not even 100% sure. So is there a free Facebook group that's just, hey, camaraderie and yada yada, and then there is an actual formal joining of the EDesign Tribe where you're part of the platform, or is one go with the other? Tell us a little bit. Like, a designer listening is like, this sounds amazing. How exactly does it work, and what am I expecting to get into, and what should I expect to give to it in order to get something out of it?
Sure. Okay. So EDesign Tribe on Facebook is open to any design professional. I do vet to make sure that we don't have, people that are not in the design industry in our group, kind of like seeing all of our little secrets. So that is open to
Yes.
anybody. And we go through every single applicant that's coming through. So that's open to everybody. But then EDesignU.com is where you can find the courses, which are separate from my platform. So the courses teach you how to market, how to implement, and then the platform provides you with the tools. And it's a membership, it's a monthly membership with 3 different tier levels, starting at renders only, which also comes with all the training and support, as well as the rendering program, and that starts at $27 a month. And then we have a light membership, which includes that Design and Five program I was talking about, which is for affiliates, or you can attach your own invoice and sell your product however you'd like. And basically, it creates this clickable shopping list that you can share online, or you can embed right into your website if you're a featured designer. Then that's the top tier is featured designer, which are vetted. You have to go through an approval process, make sure that you meet our minimum pricing standards so that there's no undercutting there for your virtual services, and that you have basically completed your directory profile to completion to help you to get clients. And it's so exciting to get these messages from designers lately. I get like 3 a week from designers saying, I found my ideal client, or my ideal client found me through the EDesign Tribe site.
Wow.
I had never thought that I would be able to land this person, especially this soon. And, like LuAnn, who works for me, is like, and she's actually one of our designer support team. And she's like, I don't even have time to take on clients, but I literally just got my dream job inquiry and I have to pursue this. Another designer was like, there's this celebrity that's pursuing me, and her, the assistant is the one reaching out to me to kind of vet me to see if I'm the right designer for the job. And I think I'm going to get it. And this is my dream project. So it's just exciting because that was the goal. That was the goal for all of this.
Amazing. Jenna, how just visionary on your part, and I love that on one hand you saw the model, the big box, type e-design sites were doing it, but you had the courage to believe that it could be done in a supportive way and not an exploitive way. That's amazing. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. And so designers come, they sign up, and did they go to, is it tell us the website that they can go and learn about it.
Yep, just eDesign, EDesign, no spaces, just EDesignU.com. You can see menu bar at the top has a link for the platform. And then if you scroll down the page, you'll see all the courses there too. I also have guest courses that are not taught by me because I'm not a professional at, everything. So I make sure that we're well-rounded. So I look for people within our community that do have amazing other assets and can teach other people something too.
Right. Very cool. I just think this is remarkable. And I have talked to at different markets and things, a lot of designers that are part of it. And every person always says super, super flattering things about you and the way the group is run. And of course, Sarah is a big part of your group as well, right? Sarah Dernier?
Yeah, she's actually part of my company. She is the director of 3D rendering because she's amazing. She's
right.
Really
I know. Outstanding. So exciting. So, all right. So, Jenna, I mean, it's amazing. I always love to meet and speak with somebody who has such big ideas and such big dreams and visions, and then is able to put them out there and make them happen at such a young age and so quick. I mean, that takes a lot of self-confidence and belief in yourself to really just say, this is worthwhile. And were there moments going along that you thought, uh-oh, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm not sure if this is worthwhile. Should I do this? Or did you know it was good and you had to keep pressing through?
Yeah, when I first started it, I didn't want to. I didn't want a Facebook group. I had never done a live and gone in front of people. I was terrified to talk to those 3 people that tuned in that day. And I was shaking, and they're all still there. You can go back and see all the videos. You just have to start something. And I want people to see that, like, you know, you get more comfortable and you can do it. But I almost quit. You know, some people were not the nicest, and that instead of letting it deter me, you know, I thought about it really hard, and it made me push further and just say, I can do this because you don't think I can. And that, for me, I'm very competitive with myself. So that did it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like to ask a question like that every now and again, because to my original point, this is something very remarkable that you've created, and you are young to have created it. And sometimes we just think that it was easy, or that there were no barriers, or there were no stumbling blocks. And it's nice for someone who's thinking of doing and has some big idea too, to know that no, it's, you know, there are places along the way where you really got to pick yourself up and keep going, and you have to have a conversation with yourself. How much do you want it, and are you doing it in the right way and going in the right direction? Because it very rarely is something just easy, right?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I'm happy that I persisted, because word of mouth now, we're up to about 3,500 people in the group. But it's been my life. This is what I do. I love it, and it doesn't feel like work, but some days it's hard.
You know, I know that feeling. It doesn't mean just because we love what we're doing doesn't mean there aren't hard days, but it's still, you know, we're not, you know, digging holes, right? We're doing something we love to do.
Yep,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
That's exciting. That's exciting. And then the next big thing is your huge involvement, the support that your company is giving to the Seasonal Living first ever virtual and augmented reality show house, which is literally next week. I think as we're recording this, it's another 2 weeks, but December 3rd, and the links to sign up to be a guest at the show house and to be a part of the opening night party will be in the show notes. And Jenna's team is a huge part of making this thing come to reality. Of course, we have all of the designers, the 11 designers who have created the designs and, you know, envisioned these rooms and put all every little detail in. And we've got all the sponsors who put all of their support behind making it happen. But then it was up to your team, Jenna, to actually render everything and bring it to life, right?
Yeah, it is the biggest project that we've ever put on this platform, which it was all actually rendered in our platform through, you know, EDesign Tribe platform. And I mean, one of the rooms alone has over 100 products just in the bookshelves. So and Sarah modeled a lot of these in SketchUp and then brought them over, and it is massive, but the experience is going to be incredible. And I cannot wait for everybody to see it.
I know. Oh my goodness. And you know, you talk about visionary, right? Gary and Leslie putting this thing together and really seeing what it could be. And then, of course, as I said, the designers and the sponsors all putting their talent and you know, hard work and blood, sweat, and tears behind it. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, Jenna, thank you so much for coming today. I so appreciate it. Your business is so interesting. You're even more interesting the way you see the chess game, and you put the, you know, different players together and see the way, you know, you just really, in my mind, you're a person who just is consistently making connections and creating win-wins for designers, consumers, everybody. And it's awesome. I admire you for it, Jenna. Thank you so much for coming and telling us about it.
Thank you so much for having me, LuAnn. I appreciate it.
So if you listen to the show on the regular, you sort of already know that I'm not a big fan of technology, right? I mean, I do love all that it enables all of us, each of us, me too, to do in a day. But it does bend my brain, okay? But there's no way around it. This is here to stay. And e-design is another thing that you may want to consider, okay? The ability to create an online business in the design world is pretty remarkable. remarkable. And Jenna has certainly used all of her skills in the planning this, her hard work, her dedication to create this in such a streamlined way. And to hear how she helps you do it is pretty amazing. All right. This is one of the things I noticed about that Jenna, that she came to this because she wanted to align her lifestyle and her personality with the business that she was passionate about, okay? And she wanted to be able to move around with her husband and do what they wanted to do. And she wanted her freedom, and she deliberately created this for herself. You know, I mean, this is impressive, right? As designers and creatives, you don't really, I feel like I've learned that this line of work sort of chooses you more than you choose it. Okay. Most of you have told me how you are very passionate about it as a young kid, moving your furniture around. Others have told me how you've come to it as a second career, but you've always loved it. And the thing is that when you're passionate about something, you still want to be able to have it support you in the way you want it to support you, right? You want to work at it, you want to do good at it, but you still want to have that whole mix. That's the whole reason we become entrepreneurs, isn't it? So that we can call the shots. So I love this, all right? And what I also loved was that Jenna figured out how to work with her strength. Right? She talked about that she doesn't really consider herself a writer, and writing is something that kind of drains her and takes her a lot of time. So she doesn't sit down and start her blog with the writing. Instead, she does it backwards. She starts with her strength, the creativity, the design, the visual, right? She picks styles that she knows she enjoys creating. Then she makes a concept board. Then she creates a shoppable look for each design style. And then when it's all there in front of her, she writes the blog post based on what she created. This way, she's not staring at a blank page trying to come up with the words, right? She's just writing about what she already did. So smart. This is such a great mental hack. I love it. Instead of working against herself and pushing through her weakness, she turns it on its head and uses her strength to make it easier. I love that. You got to say hashtag smart lady to that, right? So whatever your strength is, you have things in your business that slow you down, right? Roadblocks that just don't work with your brain and your personality. So instead of constantly trying to push through, why not look at it this way? Look at your whole process. See what you can do to switch the order of the work or a different approach that allows you to lean on your strengths to overcome the things that you're not so terrific at. Love it, love it, love it. Now, her whole system is so impressive, and she gives a detailed starting point for every one of you out there who is ready to try this. And I know you're probably thinking, I want to try this. I think you should. I loved it. I was thinking I want to try this, right? So remember that we made a goodie from you, created from Jenna's advice. Go to LuAnnandJenna.com/goodies, GOODIES. All right. Now, and Jenna's EDesign Tribe sounds like an amazing place to go as well, right? Just thinking about all of the designers there and the community, and they're helping each other. So please go find EDesign Tribe on Facebook. And also don't forget, you can go look into EDesignU. EDesign, the letter U.com. All right. And look into the courses that Jenna offers. All right. So I'm always so impressed with people like Jenna, who can piece together their business in these intricate ways with such deliberation. It's something that, I don't know, the systems, the processes, the ecosystem that she's built, I just love it. From her marketing to her content work, the pieces of the puzzles that connect everything she does and brings it all together to keep the wheels moving. It's very, very, very impressive. All right. So these are the kinds of high-level concepts that I truly believe every one of us needs to learn, right? And these are the kind of discussions that we're going to be having with our third book, A Well-Designed Business, The Power Talk Friday Experts, Volume 2, right? So when you come to LuAnn Live, you are going to see and hear the panel discussions by each of these authors, okay? So I hope that you will join us for LuAnn Live. But first, we have the book launch. That's just next week, all right? I hope you're planning to come December 10th, 6:30 Eastern Time. Go to LuAnnandJenna.com/launch, and we will send you the free RSVP link, the Zoom link, so that you can be with us, okay? All right. Now, One more thing I want to say. Thank you to our sponsor, Kirsch. Kirsch is your go-to for beautifully designed drapery hardware that has quality and technology built right in. There's that technology again, right? You have to check out the motorized Breeza rod. I know one of the features that we love about the Breeza technology is the new Neo Smart controller. It allows for easy integration with third-party home systems, okay? This is really fabulous, okay? This has been a game changer for us when we're on the sale and on the install, because we don't have to worry if there's other tech in the house, because the New Smart controller lets us connect with almost anything. And that's so good. All right. So go to Kirsch.com to find a dealer or a distributor in your area. All right. Now, one more thing about Jenna, I want to emphasize. Creating online business and passive income, it's not easy. All right. But no matter how hard it is, for the most part, a lot of it is work that you do in the beginning up front and you load it in, and then it does start to work in the background. Now, it's never always just working in the background, right? There's no magic wand where you do whatever you want to do and you don't pay attention to anything and you just make money, right? But when you do put in the type of hard work that Jenna has put into it, and the way she does that on the weekends and batching and doing all of that stuff, it does help you. Okay, it does help you build that business, and it does help you. If you have some online income coming in, maybe you get to some of your goals faster, right? Maybe you be able to start to say no to some of the projects that you don't really want to work on, while you give yourself the time and space for wait for the projects that are best for you. So whatever you use it for, maybe you're like Jenna, you want to be completely online, or maybe you just want to use it as an additional revenue stream for yourself. Okay, either way, but it does take some effort and thinking, but it is kind of worth it at the end, right? So give it some thought. I'd love to know what you come up with if you think you're going to put your toe in this. And I hope that if you do, that you'll give it your best. And I hope that you will decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at LuAnnNigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.